Here we go. Is the board ready?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a hearing tonight. I'd ask everyone to please rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so we have a hearing tonight under our code regulating short-term rentals. There were notices of violation filed against property 105 DK Road in Warwick. The violations were for advertising and occupancy of 12 guests when only 8 are permitted, excessive noise and amount of people on site on February 5th, as per a police report, and advertisement and occupancy of 10 guests when only maximum of 8 are permitted. So is the owner here this evening of 105 DK? Okay, then seeing none, the owner not being here.
They did receive notification of a certified notice, and they did receive it back. There was signed.
Okay. So I would,
Ask if anybody else is.
well, hold on, attorney, for 1 second. We did receive from the owner an email stating they've updated the guest count and put out signs and made a strict policy on Airbnb that there's no party or events allowed. That was, I guess, the response. So now this is an opportunity for the public that wants to comment on 105 DK to come forward and state your name and make a comment. So yes, ma'am. Could you come up so we can get you? Yeah, we want to make sure we get you on the. Well, just not too far, just enough so we can get you. That's
I
fine.
can hear you. What, you have to spell your last name.
More, M-O-R.
Okay.
Which is 2 houses.
And it's Kathy, you said?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Not really, I'm not complaining, because I don't know what goes on in that house. However, why wasn't the neighborhood even, or it may not need to be, but in my defense, I would like to know why we were notified that that was going to be a B&B. Is there a rule?
Well, it's you can file a permit to have Airbnb under our code, right? Any resident can, and there's a set of criteria. That code is, by the way, all on the, it's on our website. You can see what's required. The building department goes through that. There's an inspection done of the home, and there's regulations that the owner has to apply. We've found, since we've had this in place probably 2 or 3 years now, we've found problems with it, and we've tried to correct that and try to make it easier to enforce the rules and make the owners of the property take responsibility. Under the latest revisions that makes us get here tonight, there's an automatic revocation of a permit for a violation of any of the items that are listed. That's what was done here. The code does give the owner the ability to request a hearing, which they didn't come apparently, unless they came in later, to address that they are correcting it or not correcting it, going to manage it. We have at this point, as a board, felt there's a place for Airbnb, but that it has to be managed responsibly. It can't be, hey, I'm just listing it and come and bring 20 of your closest friends and, destroy a neighborhood. We're not going to allow that to happen. So that's why we've made these revisions, to see if we can't find a place where this can exist in harmony with people that are near it, right? Because there are many places in the town where you can do this and nobody will ever know that it's going on, right? Because people are responsible. It's the small number that are not responsible, and this happens in this case, in this instance, to be one of those, and we're attempting to address it. So that's why there's no notice requirement, but
It would have been nice to know that that was
Right.
going in my neighborhood, especially when
Okay.
So it would be nice to let the neighbors know what's going on, because I know we have to have permits for everything.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah,
But it would be nice to
they-
know that this is happening.
The process is they do have a permit, and it's a renewable permit. It's only good for a year. So that's sort of our way to trying to check, is it being properly managed? And I will tell you that there are hundreds of these in the town of Warwick, and I would say that the issues have arisen with a handful. So we will do whatever we can to discipline the handful so that it doesn't impact you as a neighbor, and see if this phenomena can continue. Okay? Yes, ma'am. Anyone else who would like to? Yes, sir. Just
John Lindstrom, I live over on
okay.
Can you please spell your last name?
Lindstrom. Partially.
Near 20 Miller.
The question is, we don't know about these things because most of the people who are renting are following the rules.
Right.
And these people had hundreds of kids.
Yeah.
And I don't live close, I'm about a half mile away. And you heard the noise and that sort of thing.
Right.
This past weekend, we called the police about a place down, just 2 doors down from us. They had a bus, they had 18 cars outside the house. I don't know if it was the owner. I saw the chief was here.
And he
I wanted to
stepped
know,
out.
we
He stepped out
didn't
again.
call. We left our number, we didn't get a call back. We don't know if it was an Airbnb. It is an Airbnb.
Are you talking about which one? This one or
The-
20 Miller?
The different one,
Okay.
on Miller's Lane.
20 Miller,
They
yeah.
had a wedding. And they had buses, or a bus, bringing people up to the house. There were 18 to 20 cars outside.
See, that's a violation.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And I understand the reason she didn't get any notice is because they're supposed to follow the rules.
Right.
But what do we do
So
when
here's
this happens?
right. So here's what we've done in the code to try to avoid that situation occurring again. Right. There's two things that happen. The dispatchers, and the chief did step out for a minute, but the dispatchers now, we're on 24 hours a day, have a list of the properties that are registered Airbnbs. And they have the contact number, because our code requires to be either the owner's contact 24 hours a day or a registered agent that lives in Orange County, right? The dispatchers are supposed to call that number and say, go to that location and take care of this issue now. Okay, now, in that instance, I don't know whether that happened or not. If it didn't, we'll just make sure that it continues to happen.
What we
That,
heard
and
from
then,
the neighborhood
and then-
was that the police told the people to go park at the high school.
yeah,
And it's tough for the police to be in a situation like that.
Yeah, no.
You get called on a Saturday afternoon, what are you gonna do? You could start a riot, you wanna,
right.
but what can we do
We're-
when something like that happens, other than call the police?
Well, see, here's step two. What should then happen is if you call and it's logged in as a complaint at 20 Miller Lane for a wedding happening, we know it's a registered Airbnb, that's an automatic revocation of the permit. We have that authority now. So that's what will happen to that. Now, I'll check tomorrow if there's actually a report filed, and if there is, they will get a notice that their permit is revoked.
We don't know if it was the owner, you know.
Doesn't-
You all don't know.
And we don't know that, we don't know that either, but we'll know, when we send the notice to the owner, we'll find out, right? So we're trying to send the messages, we're not fooling around anymore, right? We kind of took initially the approach, hey, you got to do this better, you can't do this anymore. But then it kept happening, and it's, again, a handful of properties, that one being one of the repeats. We're just not gonna do it anymore. We're gonna revoke the permit we have to give them the time frame to come and try to make their case. But it's not gonna be like, okay, yeah, have a nice day. Because it's a privilege to do this, not a right. And you as a resident have expectations to enjoy your property.
We all have partners.
And we get it.
We probably make a little too much noise, but we know our neighbors.
Right.
And we can yell over to our.
Correct.
Maybe call. We're pretty far apart. And just, hey, can you keep it down now? And you
Right.
go, okay, sorry, we'll
Right.
keep down. But you can't call a stranger
Right,
because you don't know who you're dealing with.
right.
So the thing is, we call the police.
Yes, that's the answer, is to call, and they will, and again, we don't want to tie up the police officers.
Yes.
So, but the dispatchers are tasked with logging this in, calling the registered agent. Then we have at least the record that will allow us to invoke this procedure under the code. So that's our,
This place, and I'm talking more about what happened on Saturday, all the reviews, people love it, but all these people are, they got 10 people, they got 8 people, you never hear them, you never even know they're there.
Right.
So it's not that it's not working, but when somebody abuses it,
right,
you know, you're left helpless wondering,
right.
you know, is this gonna happen a lot? But thank you for your
I
time.
appreciate it, thank you. Anyone else would like to speak to 105 DK? Yes, sir, give us your name. Either one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good evening, folks.
Hi.
My name is Gennaro Velez. I live in 104 Decay.
Gennaro?
Yes,
How do you spell
Gennaro.
that?
Genaro. Last name is Velez. V is in Victor, E-L-E-Z.
Thank you.
And a family of 2 young kids, dog, free-range chicken. I live in an 1800s-old farmhouse. It's like heaven. With that backdrop, we just want to say we try to stay our own business. I think that's what we're about here. We value the beautiful neighborhood, and living across the house that acts like a hotel slash motel, kind of hampers that. And also requires us to be vigilant to protect our family. Now, overall, the guests have been respectful, and I guess here, at this juncture here, is to talk about some code violations. Now, mind you, at 104, we're probably 100 feet away from the property, across the street. Garbage, we observed garbage scattered over the property for weeks. We've notified the owner. This is back in January. Took some time, got a dumpster. We still see some issues with garbage. And I guess the frequency, they try to clean it up, but eventually bins were replaced. We have a bear now around the neighborhood. Hopefully it doesn't make a mess. And we expect hopefully that the owner, property owner, will take care of that. Parties, we've observed chairs, tables, deliveries of stuff come in. We've seen big parties. Police was called in at one time. Tons of cars in the driveway. And we do have dates. I can verify all this with dates. We know that the house has been a training center for home inspection twice. Cars lined up on the street daily. This has happened twice. Now, this is not an overnight stay, but this has happened twice because I've decided to go talk to the folks. As for overcapacity, you know, we're not here. I'm not here to make an official count of overcapacity, but I can tell you that it's happened frequently, as recently as last week. Just last week, we had a busload of folks stay over. You know, in March, there were 14 people, at least. There were 8 cars out there. We have, I can tell you, this is important, we observe regular cars come in for the weekend, set cars, visitors come in overnight, pack the driveway. We've also observed guests walking their dogs unleashed. Property says there's a fenced area, we haven't seen the fenced area. Now, again, we're concerned, you know, a family, we have 2 kids, we love the place. We like to live in the rural area, but it seems now it's becoming a hotel slash motel type property. I'm very concerned.
Okay, so several of the things that you mentioned are violations, right? So, and goes back to the other gentleman, obviously one call to the police is one option. The other one is for you can email to the town hall here, to my office if you want,
Sure.
documenting those violations. That's enough for us to act as well. So it doesn't have to be that you call the police to document it. You could send in an email with, here on this date, I observed this. That's sufficient for us to notice a violation for it.
That's great. We
So,
didn't know that, we don't know
yeah,
that.
yeah, it's all,
We try to keep our business.
Yeah,
I
I know.
can tell you, you know, they have guests, 1 or 2
Right.
guests, they come for the weekend, that's great.
right,
But it's,
right.
it's a big house.
And that's what we want to stop is people, we wanted it to work, because I think there's a place for it responsibly, but it can't adversely impact others. Okay?
Thank you for the follow-up.
Yeah, and I don't have my cards with me, but you can look up on the, you can get it, yeah, all right.
Thank you.
So much, I appreciate it. Yes, yes, Vince.
Vince Capello, 122 DK Road. I've already spoken to you several times about the issues at 105 DK Road. First of all, I want to ask you a question. How many Airbnbs do we have in town of Warwick? Approximately.
Well, I will tell you that there are probably 60 registered Airbnbs. There are probably more unregistered ones, which we are in the process of trying to track down, which is not an easy task because Airbnb does not advertise the address unless you go on to book it. So we're looking visually at pictures, and fortunately we have enough people that have been here a while that they can usually figure it out. And then we're noticing those people that they're operating illegally. So we're trying to address that portion of it.
Out of the 60 Airbnbs that are registered, how many are in violation?
Currently, 2.
2. Okay.
Well, I heard another one tonight, but 2
2.
officially.
Okay, now at the 105 DK Road, how many violations against the code that they have?
3.
How many violations?
3, I read them earlier.
How many?
3, I read them earlier, yeah.
And the information that you're giving to some of my neighbors here will be quite effective and efficient, because in the past, some of us have been calling you up and also police up. So I think we could get even a quicker response if we speak to you or email you about the issues.
Yes, if we're going to issue a violation, and it's clear, I encourage everyone to go on the town website, go to the town code in the chapter, which I think is 129. Don't quote me, but in there's a list, section 7 or 8, that lists the 8 or 10 items that you could be violated for, okay? So just make sure when you're calling and documenting what that is, that you cite which one it is, okay?
Okay.
Garbage left out more than 24 hours, more car, so this house is permitted for 8. It's based on the number of bedrooms, 2 people per bedroom. That's based on how much a septic is designed for. It's a de facto violation if there are 15 cars overnight, right? Because you can't have that with 8 people. That's enough for us to revoke the permit. So we need those particulars, okay?
I want to thank you, Mr. Supervisor, and the board for reviewing the code and making some adjustments. Because like we just got finished saying, you only have 60 registered. Who knows how many other ones that are not registered.
Right.
So,
We'll get them in the end. It's just taking us a little time.
thank you.
All right, thank you. Who's next? Yes, sir.
Hi, I live at 114 DK Road.
Okay, your name?
Omar Sattar, S-A-T-T-A-R. I'm sorry if this is redundant.
That's all right.
Just to hit on the
Yeah.
points that my neighbors already hit. The garbage is an issue, the overgrown grass is an issue, but my main issue was the night of February 5th, I had to call the police because 114 DK Road is about 600 feet from 105, and my house was vibrating with techno music. And I took a walk to the street, there were 6 cars in the driveway, and 4 parked on the street. The one closest to my house was the one blasting music. There were people sitting on the cars, in the driveway, on the stoop, and there were people in the house. Best guess, there were 30 people that night. That was around 11 p.m. I called the police, and kudos to the police. They were there in 6 minutes, shut it down, and the next morning when I was leaving for work, which was 5 a.m., there were tables and chairs all stacked up. Looks like they were getting ready to be picked up. Sounds like you guys are doing everything you can to try and remedy the problem, and I appreciate that. That's why I moved to, specifically, that's why I moved here, because I wanted that slower country lifestyle. I wanted just to get away from everything that I'm complaining about.
Yeah,
So,
I get it.
Yeah, that's just my piece. I've been working on it all day, so I just had to say
I get it, I appreciate it, but yeah, and that was that date was one of the violations. That's in this, so, all right? Yep. Anyone else like to speak to 104.5 DK? All right, seeing none then, I'm gonna close this hearing.
Make a motion to close the hearing.
Yep.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. All right, so we'll be in touch with the owner, didn't show up, so, not sure what the outcome of that will be, but, I encourage you again to follow what I suggested, in terms of if you notice any additional violations between now and our next meeting, which would be the 13th of August. Okay? I'm sorry?
What happens if it's revoked? Like you said, it might be revoked. What happens then?
Well, they wouldn't be allowed to do it, and then they would ultimately end up in justice court if they continue to violate it.
Is it a permanent suspension? Is it, I didn't.
No, it's not, it's not clear. Could they apply again in a year? Probably. Yeah. I don't think our code precludes them from reapplying.
We have to, when they apply, we have to pay for another permit under the.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, we'd start all over again. Yeah. Okay? All right, great. You're welcome to stay, but I can understand why you wouldn't. Have a good evening, everybody. We'll give you a minute to clear out. We did.
Supervisor Sweden? Here. Councilman Gertner?
Here.
Councilman D'Angelo?
Here.
Councilman Cole?
Here.
Councilman Schuback?
Here.
Attorney Myro? Here. TPW Commissioner Estorino? Here. Police Chief Rader?
All right, thank you. May I have a motion to accept the minutes of the regular meeting of June 22nd or the public hearing of June 22nd? And the public hearing.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Correspondence listed on page 1. I don't really have any discussion of it, except to note that the Pine Island Fire District letter dated June 22nd to the clerk, they will be having a public notice regarding the adoption of granting members of the Pine Island Fire District an exemption from taxation of up to 10% of the assessed value of their real property. I don't have the date of that in front of me, but
Memo on the board outside.
there's a memo outside to check that, and that would be just the exemption on their fire tax. And that's a new law that was passed by New York State that requires each municipal entity to consider that. Boards of commissions, visiting elected officials, I don't see any. Let's go to reports in here from Councilman D'Angelo.
Okay, good evening. For the month of June 2023, the Town of Warwick Police Department had the following calls. Outside of Greenwood Lake was 153. Town proper is 478. Pine Island 193. Village of Warwick, they had 427, and Greenwood Lake Ambulance had 49 calls. For a total for the month of June of 1,300 calls. Chief, do you have anything you want to add?
As you know, this has probably been the most challenging week of certainly my career and a lot of us with the accident that we had here tonight. I want to thank the supervisors of the board for their support this week. We're used to giving the help, so the help that we've received back and the outpouring from this community, the other agencies that responded that night, it means a lot to all the officers down there. This was a tough kick for us to take, and we'll keep you posted on progress.
Great.
Thank you.
I'm going to speak to it later, too, as well. So.
Okay. All right. From the Warwick Valley Humane Society, they're currently housing 4 cats, 1 dog, 1 parakeet, both homeless and hospitalized owners at their request, in addition to ongoing pet surrenders and strays. They have a low-cost cat spay neuter program. Certificates are available for purchase for $25 from the town of Warwick and its village residents at Warwick Valley Humane by appointment for use at the Animal Rights Alliance clinics only. And just a reminder that as far as the heat advisory for pets, never leave a pet unattended in a vehicle. Temperatures can rise to dangerous levels in just minutes, putting your dog at risk of a heat stroke. And she reminds me it's illegal. They have their 7th annual For the Animals golf outing will be held August 21st at the exclusive golf course at Manson Ridge in Monroe. To register as a sponsor or golfer, or for more information, go to wvumaine.org/event. And that's all for the Humane Society. And for the Town of Warwick Friendly Visitor Program, the number of neighbors assisted this in June was 28. Total number of volunteers assisting them was 23. And what amazes me is the number of services provided by those people were 346. So that's pretty impressive. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. And the clerk has pointed out to me that the hearing at the Pine Island Firehouse, it's only if you're in the Pine Island Fire District, is on July 20th at 7:30 p.m. in the firehouse. So thank you. Councilman Cole.
Great, thank you. Well, I live down in the Pine Island area, in the farming area, and with the increased traffic from, people are harvesting their crops, and, the onion harvest is about to start. I'd like just to remind people that, the farm vehicles don't travel as fast. They're carrying, loads of vegetables. They don't go as quick as you might like them to do. I see a lot of farmers, though, they've installed strobe lights on. I commend them for that. It makes them a little bit more visible. And, but, if it's a solid line, or if you're going around a corner, don't pass them. It's not worth it. It's just, the stuff I see is on a daily basis, just, especially what happened this week, just makes your skin crawl.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. That's all I got.
Thank you. Councilman Gerstner?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. DPW has been busy with catch basins on Sunrise Ridge and Wilhelm Drive, doing some tree work, clean up trees that fell on Knowlecroft Terrace, mowing town-wide, ball fields, mowing and maintaining them, potholes, filling with hot mix, road repairs on Little York Road and Round Hill Road, vehicle maintenance, emergency repairs and road signs, taking care of them as needed, hauling some material, stockpile, 3/8 inch stone to the stockpile, and then they had a water main break on 89 Wickham Drive. They repaired that. Also, the paving has been postponed due to weather with the rains, so that'll commence as soon as that clears up. And Commissioner, anything else?
No, they're running a week to 10 days behind their schedule, so.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the update. And that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilman Schuback.
I'd like just to inform everyone that with the conjunction with the Warwick Soccer Club, we finally just got done seeding the one field over off our Union, the park over there. And I would just ask everyone just to stay off of the seeds, just starting to come out. It's gonna take a while, so we'll let people know when you can play on the field, but it's all seeded, it's starting to come up nice now. And everyone just please just stay off of it.
All right, thank you. Attorney Myro? Town Clerk's report.
The fees collected for July 2023 were $20,467.15, and the fees paid out were $2,151.07. We have a bid proposal for replacement for the condensing units at Mountain Lake Park Arts Building and Theater Building. The first is from Groves Construction for $24,000. The second is from Valanga Construction for $12,680. And we also reached out to JAGS Contracting and Wright Renovation, and they both did not give us a submittal. We have a bid proposal to replace the condensing, that's the same thing.
Yeah, so let me just make a correction on the first one you read is for the step and stringer replacements at Mountain Lake Park in the TC cabins and the infirmary.
That's the.
But the
deck
right
and the
contractors,
railings, yes.
correct, but the right
I will
contractors.
make sure I fix that, I
You got it.
apologize.
That's all right.
So, the next proposal is exactly what I just read, for the replacement of the condensing units at the art and the theater, the arts building and the theater building, from Expert Mechanical for $32,151.42. The second is Nebraska Plumbing and Heating for $26,092. No, $26,092. And the third is Armistead Mechanical, Inc. for $27,500. And that's all I have.
Perfect, thank you. Supervisor's report, and then I just lost it, but I did want to speak to the horrific accident that occurred at Warwick Turnpike and Route 94. A dynamic young police officer doing her job was T-boned by a tractor trailer who had lost its brakes, apparently. It was a horrendous evening, and I'm happy to report that the officer miraculously is doing well, is stable, and I believe has a path to recovery. It's going to be long, but she will recover well, and we fully expect that we will get her back onto the force. And if you don't believe in miracles, you should believe in miracles now, because when you saw the condition of the vehicle, this young lady should not have walked out of it or been brought out of it alive. So I want to thank, it was a tremendous response, not only from the Warwick Police Department officers, but from the Sheriff's Office, the State Police, the Fire Department, the EMS, were all on scene, seemed instantaneously. And each one, although they were emotionally involved in seeing this scene, did everything they had to do right and got this young lady to exceptional care. And I think the community should be very proud of all of those responders. I want to especially thank Chief Rader and First Sergeant Morley, because as traumatic as this was for them as well, they did also perform exceptionally that evening, and they deserve so much gratitude from certainly this town board and this community for the job they did. So I would just ask you to continue to keep this young officer in your prayers as she fights to recover, and we all wish her well. And Chief, I want to thank you personally for your leadership in this and how you handled it, and how you also provided care for the officers in the aftermath of this. So thank you very much for that. The other event that has consumed us in the past 2 weeks is the battery storage incident. There are actually 3 battery storage units, 2 at the school property, 1 in the village. And as you probably understand, there was a fire incident at the one at the school. And we are out of what's called, I think, stage 1, which is the removal of damaged batteries and the obviously no fire. The investigation is now just beginning as to what happened there. But I think it behooves everyone, even though neither of these were under the jurisdiction of the town zoning, to take a step back on all of this. And so tonight there is a resolution on our agenda to declare have a hearing to declare a 6-month moratorium on any new battery storage, even though there are none being proposed at this time, so that we can understand this and then the potential of these things, which are being certainly promoted as a vital step to this move to be all electric. And we need to understand where and how and if they have a place safely in the community and where that should be. So that will happen over the next 6 months. It can be extended, it may have to be, but I think it's a prudent step, and the board, I believe, agrees with that. So we will take action on that in a little while. And then that reminds me that if you have not signed up for Code Red, it's an emergency alert system. You will only get a call in the event of an emergency. And I urge everyone, even if you think you are in the old system, to just go online. You can text Warwick Alert, all one word, to 99411. You can go on the town's website, click on the button, register as a guest so you don't have to fill out a whole new thing. Put in your information, text, email, phone number. Or you can even go see the clerk and she'll happily register you. But it is our way to communicate with you instantaneously in the event that we need to. We did use it that evening based on emergency service advice to the immediate surrounding area. But it has the ability to reach anywhere in the town, and I just ask you to sign up. Journal entries have been made for the board's information with the comptroller, and I have checked all of them, and they were in order. And my column is in the dispatch and sometimes in the advertiser, so check that for information as well. That is the end of my report, and I would ask if anyone has a question on the agenda, any agenda items. Seeing none, you gotta wait, Pat, sorry. So let's move in, and I would make a motion to adopt a resolution to adopt local law number 3 of 2023 entitled Amending Chapter 164 regarding commercial solar cannabis dispensary overlay district and campground definitions and reporting requirements.
Second.
This was the subject of a hearing 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, last week.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to request to serve alcohol.
Motion to adopt a resolution granting permission to Joanna Matei and George Foy to serve alcohol at Mountain Lake Park on September 2nd, 2023 for a family party. Certificate of liability and liquor liability of insurance is on file in the clerk's office.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I make the following motion. Whereas the town of Warwick seeks to promote the well-being of all residents, and whereas the many households, food insecurity, in many households, food insecurity is a chronic problem, and providing adequate food for children is a recurring challenge. And whereas the Backpack Snack Attack, a not-for-profit outreach program of Warwick Reformed Church, provides food on weekends and during the summer to needy children in the town of Warwick Public Schools. And whereas the town board of the town of Warwick desires to promote awareness in the community of the Backpack Snack Attack's mission to help needy children who attend public schools. Now therefore be it resolved that the month of August be and is hereby designated as Backpack Snack Attack Back to School Month in the town of Warwick.
Second.
I got it.
Second.
Any other discussion? Discussion is, it's a great program. I urge everyone to, I think you still have containers around, right, to donate. Do what you can. It's a great program. And for many, it is truly the best meal that they get. So let's just do it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion on a retirement.
Motion to adopt a resolution to accept the notice of retirement for the purpose of retirement as a Town of Warwick Police Sergeant Number 1, Jason G.C. Marsh, effective July 30th, 2023.
Second.
Discussion. Sergeant Marsh has been an exceptional member of the department. He's served well, and he's brought a lot to the department. So, Chief, please wish him the best in his retirement for us.
Wish him well, and thank you.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion on a resignation.
Motion to adopt a resolution to accept the resignation of part-time police dispatcher Monica Neubauer, effective July 15th, 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? Wish her
Wish her
well on her new career. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I make a motion to adopt the resolution to appoint Obed N. Alameda as a part-time police dispatcher at a rate of pay of $19 per hour, effective July 15, 2023, as per recommendation letter dated July 6, 2023, from the police chief.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to serve alcohol.
Motion to adopt a resolution granting permission to Emily Wylong to serve alcohol at Mountain Lake Park on September 15, 2023. Certificate of liability and liquor liability insurance is on file in the clerk's office.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Adopt resolution granting permission to James Gershner to serve alcohol at the Wickham Woodland 2nd, 2023. Certificate of liability and liquor liability insurance is on file with the clerk's office. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
Okay. Motion passed. Motion on a refund.
Motion to adopt a resolution to refund $100 pickleball clinic fee back to Jeannie Long.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I make a motion to adopt a resolution to set a public hearing for the introductory local law number 4 of 2023 entitled Establishing a 6-month moratorium prohibiting the review and approval of clean renewable energy technology businesses devoted to research, education, distribution, or application of technological innovation in an alternate energy uses in the town of Warwick. Said hearing to be held on Thursday, August 10th, 2023, at 7:30 p.m. in the Town Hall, 132 Kings Highway, Town of Warwick.
Second.
Again, this specifically is the use that would allow an applicant to propose a battery storage unit.
Right.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. A motion on a change order.
Motion to adopt a resolution to approve a change order for Professional Brushworks for caulking for the new doors and scraping the paint and trim of the TC cabins at the Mountain Lake Park in the amount of $3,500.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. A motion on a change order.
Motion to adopt a resolution to approve change order for Skyward Electric for additional electric at the main lodge at Mountain Lake Park in the amount of $1,425.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to accept a bid.
Motion to adopt a resolution to accept bid from Valenga Construction to replace the decks and stairs of the infirmary for an amount of $5,360 and replace 12 steps and stringers at the TC cabins at an amount of $7,320.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I make a motion to adopt a resolution to accept a proposal from Ubiqua for the connectivity and data collection for the municipal street light smart nodes for a 10-year contract at a cost of $8,750 for the 10-year contract period.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to serve alcohol.
Motion to adopt a resolution granting permission for the Warwick Institute of Culture and the Greenwood Lake Theater Company permission to serve alcohol at the Mountain Lake Park on July 15th, 2023. Certificate of liability and liquor liability insurance is on file in the clerk's office.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to renew an agreement.
Motion to adopt a resolution to renew a maintenance agreement for maintenance and snow removal at Kings Estates Park District from Elegant Landscaping for 2023 at a cost not to exceed $1,916.16 per month.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion on a refund.
Motion to adopt a resolution to refund $75 back to Rose Morse for a cancellation of a Pine Island Park fee and deposit.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Agreed. To adopt a resolution accepting the proposal from Nebraska Plumbing and Heating for the replacement of the condensing units in the Arts Building and Theater Building at the Mountain Lake Park in the amount not to exceed $26,092.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to accept a proposal.
Motion to adopt a resolution to accept proposal from Key West Technologies as a sole source provider for audiovisual equipment for the town of Warwick in an amount not to exceed $1,383.56.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to pay the duly audited bills.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Privilege of the floor for anything. Yes, sir.
I'm Pat Corcoran, and I wanted to approach all of you, Michael and the board, for what you've done at the Mountain Lake Park. The pickleball courts, I'm biased, but they're the nicest courts anywhere. So you guys listened, you took action, and you delivered. So there's a few people back there, but I want to thank you for what you've done. Victor Ruiz, and he did the work, did a tremendous job.
He did a good job, yeah.
I know we gave him a couple hard hits, he had some things over, but he did a great job.
Yeah.
I recommend him anywhere. Thank you for what you do. I'll continue to keep in touch with you for the future stuff. But Sam's been fantastic.
Good.
You got a perfect person up there to run the place. She's been listening whenever I have something, any concerns. She's
Works hard, yeah. They look really cool. I was up there the other day. They do look really cool.
You know, you gotta come up there and play.
I got to take the clinic first, I think.
You got paddles for everybody.
I learned you had to stay out of the red spot, because that's bad, right? Is that what it is? Okay.
So thank you again. It's tremendous. So.
Well, we appreciate it, because Pat really was he was sort of the driver. He knew about this stuff. He researched it, and we couldn't have done it without your help. So we do appreciate it. And you keep everybody happy up there, right?
I try.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would have any issue they'd like to address? Yes, ma'am.
Just calling to find out if there's anyone.
Could you give her a name again, just so
Thank
she?
you. Any further movement on the Delaware Silver?
None.
None, okay.
That's it.
That's that part. Also, to piggyback on what Mr. Cole said, the farms are starting to, obviously, we're doing our first cutting, and we're gonna be going up to County Park. I don't know if it means anything, or if there's any way to actually have a little bit more of a police presence, because, as I'm sure some of you know, the Crandall family goes not just on the home farm, but we do a couple of other ones. My mother-in-law is 79 years old. She's driving the tractors from the county park down, and people are terribly off their speeding. She's almost gotten hit, I don't know how many times. And right there on those pine corners and stuff, it's gonna be going from right by the county park, parking lot, over to Bull Road.
Right.
And people are dangerous.
Yeah, they
When I'm
just.
able to, I follow her, and we'll try to follow her with the hazards on and keep cars at a distance so they can't pass, because it makes it a little bit easier. But they're doing it a lot while I'm working right now, so it's kind of hard during the daytime. So I'm just wondering if there's anything that, maybe they.
Well, we'll try to keep an eye out, it's best we can do, I guess, and,
And the other thing is, if Chief Frater, you could please just tell your officers that we do have the key to the gate to go up there. We've been stopped a couple of times last year. Larry's wife, Liz, was bringing him water and diabetes medication, and they weren't letting her go up. And she's like, well, we have to keep the gate. I said, why didn't you just tell them you have the lease for the property? Because we do hold the lease for agriculture.
okay. I'm sure we can make the patrol.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, all right. Anyone else? Then I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
We pay the bill?